the 5th of November. Rabbi Levitt, Pele Yoetz.
And it's Erev Shabbos. And it is Chodesh Kislev. Chodesh Tov. Umavorach. To everyone.
Morning, Alan.
Morning.
Good morning, Alan. Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov.
Okay, good. So we were in the section of bizoyon, disgrace. Okay. Oh, very good. Okay, so we are on page 96 in the second paragraph, in the middle paragraph. If other people disgrace him, what should he do? And we'd like to call upon Lou to lead off the reading for today.
Other people disgrace him. He should not respond or quarrel at all. Rather, he should be submissive, bow his head and say, "This is a sign that I am disgusting and rejected by the Creator because of my sins. And he has sent this person to disgrace me." For God told him to curse. That's in quotes. I'm not sure what that's referring to. On the other hand, his heart should rejoice, for God has chosen to gently chastise him with suffering, and he does not incur monetary loss for the purpose of eliminating willful sin and unintentional wrongdoing. Heaven has done him a great honor. This is on condition that he accepts it with love and is content with this kind of castigation. Our sages already commented that about such individuals, the verse exclaims, "And those who love him will be like the sun when it shines strongly." I don't get the last reference.
Okay, so let's take a look at this Gemara in Gittin. This is a Gemara in Gittin, 36b. Good morning, Roy.
Good morning, Rabbi Levitt. Good morning.
Morning, Roy.
Good morning. How are you, Ellen?
Baruch Hashem. And you? Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov to you too, and to your family, and
Thank you.
everybody. We just read what?
We're looking in Gittin,
Mhm.
36b.
And this was from in Pele Yoetz, we read what?
We're on page 96. We read the paragraph that begins, "If other people,"
All right, okay.
refers to Gittin 36. So we're looking that up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said I don't understand the last reference where it quotes Sophie.
Okay. Okay, last 5 lines of the page. Tonu Rabbanon. We learned in a brisa, Anel Lovim, Ve'enam Olvim. Those that are disgraced and they don't return the favor. They don't do the same thing to the one that did to them. Shomim cherpason, they hear their cherpa, their disgrace. Ve'ein meshivin, and they do not answer back. They don't answer the person back. We'll see, okay, so that's the case that the Bryce is talking about. The Bryce says, "Osin me'ava." They do so from ava, from love. Smeichim b'yisurim, and they rejoice in their yisurim, in their inui, in their affliction, Aleim akasav oimer. About them, the pasuk in Shoftim says, "Va'oyavav ketseis hashemesh b'gvuraso." And his loved ones, the loved ones of Hashem, are like the sun that comes up in the morning in their gvura, in their strength and their might. That's what the Gemara. That's the Gemara that the Pele Yoetz is referring to. So this okay, so that's what it's talking about. If one is disgraced, insulted, etc., castigated, if he doesn't return the insult, if he doesn't return the disgrace, so then this pasuk of he's beloved to Hashem, and his gevura, his might and his strength is like the sun when it comes up, so to speak, from the horizon. That's a certain gevura. It comes up and shines and illuminates the entire world. So that's what someone who he's comparable to the sun in his gevura if he does this. And so there's two reasons that are given by the Pele Yoetz why he should do this, why he should feel like this, I guess. What's the it's a, in other words, there's a spora to it. There's a logic to why it is that he should not respond, because he says to himself, this is a sign that Hashem is really the one who's telling this person to curse me, as David HaMelech said when Shimon Begera, when he was
Oh, that's not me this time.
Words. And David Amelech says, oh, Hashem told him to curse me. David's men wanted to go over there to Shimon and Gera and check him alive. And David said, no, leave him be. Leave him be. Hashem told him to do this. In other words, what? Instead of saying, who are you to do this to me? I don't deserve this. How dare you do this to me? What right do you have to do this? No, we say to ourselves, oh, if this is happening, there is a clear indication that that Hashem is sending this person to do this to me. And it's as though it's so Hashem has done so. So if Hashem would do this to us, if we would see Hashem doing this to us, would we say to Hashem, how dare you do that to me, Hashem? What gives you the right to do that to me? Oh, we wouldn't say that. So that's one reason why we don't respond. Another reason that's given by the Pele Yoetz is that really, this is the best way that there is in the world to atone for willful sins and unintentional wrongdoing. We are getting our affliction, we're getting our punishment, so to speak, through our acceptance of this is it. This is Hashem is giving us a golden opportunity. And if we accept it in that way, because we recognize that it's what they say on the hotline, it's really just soap and shampoo. A person he's dirty, he's smelly, and he goes into the shower and he uses the soap and he uses the shampoo, and he comes out and he feels so good, he feels so clean, he smells so nice. He's in a great mood after he takes a shower. So we should be in the same mood after somebody cleans us up with this disgrace and this insult and vilification that we have received. Because in a spiritual sense, it's exactly the same as going into the shower and getting soap and shampoo. So, having said that, is this a binding obligation? And if we don't do this, if we answer back, we've done an avera? I don't think so. We're not, just like he wasn't, we're not supposed to embarrass or disgrace another person. But to be totally silent and not answer at all, and not defend ourselves at all, that we don't. The halacha doesn't require us to do that. But what we're saying over here is that if a person takes it in this way and he doesn't answer anything back, so then this is what the pasuk in the Gemara says about him.
So how can you reconcile those two approaches?
Not following the question. What's the question?
On the one hand, basically keep quiet. On the other hand, defend yourself.
Oh, so in other words, it's not so easy to just be quiet, right? so like it says over here, he's like the sun in its might and its strength. It's not so easy. So I'm just telling you, if the person shouldn't feel that if he doesn't want to avail himself of these of the if he's not committing a sin if he defends himself.
Mhm.
So, of course, the higher madrega is to be totally silent. And then, of course, there's the other matter, which is not written over here in the Pele Yoetz. Maybe he's going to write it in a minute. I don't know, but there's a story about the Reb Chaim that someone went to him and they were childless, and they said, what should they do? They need a bracha. So Reb Chaim said, yes, go to a person who has been insulted and disgraced and has not answered anything back, and go over to them and ask them for a bracha right away. And the person was sometime thereafter, I don't know how long after, he found himself in a situation where he witnessed somebody being disgraced, and they didn't say anything back. He ran over to them and said, please give me a bracha for children. And the person says, you should have children. And sure enough, within the year, I believe, they were blessed.
Well, while we're on this topic, on this aspect, what about if you defending somebody else? So a friend of yours was insulted. He didn't answer back, but you do.
So now you want to get into a fight, which is not your own fight? But if he's not going to fight with this guy, why should you?
But you're his friend, and you feel that you can support him.
So in other words, okay, so you want to allow this person to be silent and get all these great commendations that the Gemara gives him, and at the same time, you want that there is a defense to this accusation that's being made. So you want to answer back. Do you really think that based upon what this person said, if you go over and explain to him and tell him, you're making a mistake over here, he's going to say, oh, yes, of course, I didn't realize. Thank you very much for pointing this out to me.
No,
If
you can be more
you think that that's going to happen, okay, good.
Mhm.
But if there's an equal chance that he's going to just start yelling louder and more vociferously to defend his own honor, that he's right, so then you're just basically creating a fight, which wasn't there, because your friend is quiet. There's no fight. The guy said what he said. Your friend was quiet. Where's there a fight? Smiles at him. He says, have a good day, kol tuv lecha, and that's it. There's no fight. Like this, there's a possibility of a fight. And do we really care what this person thinks about him? What did the person say? That he accused him of doing an avera? What was the accusation?
Well, all right. So the accusation was that he did an avera, that he, I accuse you of going out with somebody else's wife.
Okay, so you think that if somebody doesn't defend him, then people will think that this guy is telling the truth.
Possibly,
because
yeah.
the person that he accused is silent,
Mm.
and you're over there, and you know that you know the person, and you say it's not true.
It's not true. He was with me, or I know for a fact it's not true. So you know, just shut your mouth.
How are you going to prove? How are you going to disprove his accusation?
Pop him on the nose.
No further questions, Your Honor.
But I think that Roy does have a certain point that, you know, the example he gave is pretty powerful, because if he accuses, if a person is accused of something like that,
By the way, this accusation is in the street. It's not in the court.
but the thing is, it could lead to lashon hara. It could really hurt the person who has been falsely accused of adultery. It could ruin his marriage. What if his wife hears it and and they get into a big fight because she believes it? I mean, it's just being silent would seem to be not necessarily such a good idea in a case like that.
And if he gets into a fight with this guy, she won't suspect him.
Well, if he defends himself, at least he's not admitting that it's true. I mean,
Is his silence an admission of his truth? Is his silence an admission of the truth of the act of the accuser?
Yeah.
Wow.
Silence is consent, isn't it?
Yep.
In Besdin, in regard to Dine Mominus.
Well, this is in the street.
There's
This
no
is common.
consent in the street.
This is
Let's say it's in the
There's no-
shul.
If it's not in Besdin before the judges, then there's no halakhic. You can't go into the Besdin and say, this guy, I told him that he owes me $1,000 and he didn't answer me back. You know what the judge is going to say? That's very interesting. So therefore what? That's no proof of anything. That's not Hodas Baldin.
okay. Look, this conversation is taking part in over a dinner table or out in the street or amongst barbecue somewhere. It's not in court.
Right? So it's got nothing to do with the halakhic admission. It's not it does not
The question you
constitute
asked
a
me
halakhic
is,
admission
if
at all.
he's silent, does it imply that it's true?
Mm.
So you know why it's not considered a halakhic admission if it's outside of Besdin?
Why?
Because the halacha says is that the person was not under any obligation to answer this accusation, and he doesn't have to deny this accusation that was made against him. He was involved in whatever it was that he was doing, and we don't draw any conclusion from it whatsoever. That would be what the Besdin is saying. So you're going to say, oh yeah, but what about people? People talk.
Exactly.
So do I have to get into a fight with this person because people are going to speak lashon hara? Should I do a sin to prevent other people from doing a sin? No.
But it's not a sin to defend yourself.
So, okay, so like this. If a person responds, like I said, that's the halakha, he's allowed to respond. And he sees that the person is becoming more vociferous in his, more angry and more venomous in his it's turning into a machlokes.
Mhm.
Am I allowed to continue to defend myself?
Probably a good idea not to, but
I already defended myself.
mm,
I already was Yoetz Zayin. I already fulfilled my obligation to reject his accusation. And now he's going on and on and on. Certainly I'm not allowed to respond to him any further,
Well,
because that would just be getting embroiled. That would just constitute getting embroiled in a machlokes.
it depends. Let's say he says,
and how is it?
you're having an affair with Mrs. X. And I say, no, I'm not. That's not true. And he says, well, how come I saw you at the Motel 6 with Mrs. X last Tuesday? And I say, that was a business meeting. So in that case, I would think it's appropriate. If he says, yes, you are, you're a stinking liar, then I would agree with you. At that point, I wouldn't respond.
So you're saying I have to respond to every accusation that he makes separately.
If I think that people are going to think that because of what he said, and the fact that I didn't respond, it's the truth, and therefore they're going to speak lashon hara, then I think I have to defend myself to protect my reputation and to prevent my, to at least reduce the lashon hara that's going to be going around.
It's a way you're going to say it too. Perhaps if you said something like, you don't know what you're talking about, and I don't know.
Well, I think what you're trying to say, Roy, is it depends on how you say it. If I get angry and start shouting at him and calling him names, telling him you're a fool, whatever, that's different from calmly saying, it was a business meeting. It was not an affair.
Mhm. And stop being so jealous.
The thing is, you don't. If you're accusing him, if you're inflating the argument, inflating the anger, then I would agree. You should be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to say it, and there's a way to say it.
Mm-hmm. Suppose you have to sort of use your common sense and street knowledge and halacha, knowledge of halacha, and try and have a good mix.
Let's talk about what Shimi ben Gera said to David HaMelech. What did he say to him?
Is he the one that was throwing rocks at him from the side of the road?
Yeah.
And other things too.
Yeah. That
He
story.
was saying to him, you're an adulterer and you're a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
You murdered you murdered the what was his name
The
again?
husband
I forget
of-
his name. The husband of Bathsheba.
Mhm.
And then you had an affair with her. That's what he said to him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What was David's response? Hashem has told him to curse me. I'm totally silent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he couldn't really defend himself because what the guy was saying was true.
Was David a murderer? Was he an adulterer?
May not have been true, but it was, it could look that way from what he did.
Well, he did contrive to have Uri killed.
Oh, that's it. Uri, right.
He did contrive to have him killed. And the prophet, Natan the prophet, comes to him and says, "You are that man. You're the man. You're the rich man who stole the sheep from the poor man." And David says, "I have sinned."
Okay, the Gemara says, Kol misha omer David chata eino ela toeh. And which means that whoever says that David committed a sin, he is mistaken.
So when David said, "I have sinned," he was mistaken.
On his level, according to his understanding, that's what he said. That was David HaMelech. But we should chas v'sholem not think that he was an adulterer and a murderer. That's what the point of the Gemara is. But the point is that that's exactly what Shimon ben Gera accused him of being. He didn't say, "Oh, you're a no good so and so and just a general this or that." Shimon ben Gera was the Rosh Sanhedrin. He was the Rebbe of Shlomo HaMelech. He was the greatest scholar of the day.
Maybe he should have known not to speak out. Was he allowed to speak out like that? I don't think so.
Surely not. One doesn't vilify a king. That's called being married b'malchus.
Mhm.
That's called rebelling against the authority of the king. But David, in his righteousness and saintliness, and in his humility, and his recognition of the emes of what the Pele Yoetz is talking about over here, he chose to say, Hashem told him to curse. So the words from the Pele Yoetz are really the words of David HaMelech. In that situation.
Well, I would think that it makes a difference if the accusation is true or false. If the accusation is true, then you should definitely be silent.
Well, a person can't deny the truth, but we don't need the Pele Yoetz to tell us that.
Right.
Right? We don't need the Pele Yoetz to tell us when someone falsely accuses you, or rather when someone accurately accuses of you, then you shouldn't falsely deny it. That we don't need the Pele Yoetz to tell us.
Right.
We can figure that one out for ourselves. But Pele Yoetz is telling us something that we would not have thought.
Well, what exactly did he accuse David of? He said, David, you're a murderer and an adulterer.
Yeah.
He used those words.
Yeah, see, the problem is that the situation with David HaMelech is extremely complex it's not a situation like, like I gave as an example, where you can say a simple statement. It was a business meeting. He'd have to go into a whole lengthy explanation of, well, Uri was really a traitor, and I was authorized to kill him, and he was really not married to her. He had divorced her, and I determined that the divorce was real. And he'd have to go into all this stuff, and that would not really prevent the people from speaking Lashon Hara, because it would get embroiled into this whole discussion and argument, and it would end up being a big fight, like we were saying. So it's a very unique situation, I think.
And people want to speak Lashon Hara too, despite everything that's been written about and said about it. There are a lot of people who thrive on Lashon Hara, and you've got to sort of take that into consideration as well. Because
Right.
a Lashon Hara can actually start to be considered as being true. I mean, you have a look at the Lashon Hara that's being spoken about Klal Israel in the world today. People think it's true.
So what should we do?
We should have more, what do you call it, public relations, which we don't have. And people, if we did that, then there would be more people who would start to think about what they're being fed.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
don't think so. I don't think that would make any difference.
No. Well, I think it would make some
Answer
difference.
to Lashon Hara about the Jewish people is Jewish unity. If we're united, if we're together, then the Lashon Hara will not stick.
Mm. But anyway,
We're fighting each other,
mm,
makes cracks in our armor.
right. That's true as well. A lot of there's. I don't think it's just one thing, but that's a different. That's a different example. It's not really a good example because it's a different thing altogether. But yeah, and I'm just saying that Lashon Hara can become true, can become considered as being true, especially in normal social intercourse. People will think about it. I mean, say, oh, so and so is not such a great accountant. I know that he sort of siphoned off some money, and maybe not true, but and the accountant defends that, but people will still think about it. So once you've said something, once you've disgraced somebody or something like that, some of it's going to stick. Even if you try and clean it, no matter how successful you're going to be. I think you have to shoot the person who said it, and that's done. That's that.
I'm going to refer my enemies to you, Roy.
Yeah, it's a just normal human reactions are a little bit different to reactions that one should have knowing halacha.
Okay.
So there's no answer, no real answer.
I mean, is this true? What the Pele Yoetz is saying, that the person, even if the person is falsely accusing, but let's remember something. Does that mean that it's not so that Hashem sent him to say this false accusation? In which case, then this wouldn't apply. The silence wouldn't apply. That's what you're saying.
It's hard
But,
for me to hear that, if somebody falsely accuses me, that Hashem sent him to do it. I mean, what about his own free will?
Okay, we're getting into a whole discussion over here.
Yeah. We don't know the reason.
Yeah.
I mean, if what's his name? King David Hamelech, he would know the reason. He'd know the reason that he was being vilified by this bloke. I've forgotten his name now. Anyways, but we don't know. How do we know it's not something that, as Lou says, a pure act of free choice?
But so then David is wrong when he said Hashem sent him to curse me?
No, I said somebody at his level would know.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what he said. He said Hashem sent him to curse me.
Right.
Hashem
But
told
we
him to
wouldn't-
curse me.
We wouldn't know. I'm saying that we wouldn't know.
But why is the Pele Yoetz talking about this? He's saying it applies to us too. It doesn't only happen to David HaMelech. David HaMelech is teaching us something. That's what we're supposed to be learning here right now. We're supposed to be learning that David, just like David said this, so too, it applies to us. Not just David HaMelech that it applied to.
All right.
It's hard for me to hear.
Otherwise,
Free choice? No.
It's hard for me to hear that David HaMelech is an example, though, because it's such a unique situation.
I don't know why that makes it any different. That's why Pele Yoetz is telling us this, because it does apply to us, not because it does not apply to us. In the Pele Yoetz's estimation, this what David HaMelech said is a lesson for us. It's not just simply a history of Klal Yisrael, that this is something that happened to David HaMelech, but it has nothing to do with us.
Well, if that's how we see it, then first of all, I think we should be grateful when it happens, and take it as the way Pele Yoetz says. And secondly, we probably have to say that all this argument that we have is stemming from our lack of bitachon.
Okay. Very good. So as I say, it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do.
Sure.
But
Not at all.
but what we're not really discussing how easy it is. We're discussing whether it's is it recommended for us, because maybe we could accomplish more by defending ourselves and preventing lashon hara, etc., etc. So I'm saying that I don't believe that is the correct cheshbon. I believe that what happened with David is the same thing that this is something that we would also, if we could possibly do this, it would be something that would be a great cleanser for us.
Yeah. And that's why I said we should be grateful.
The I believe I didn't see it inside, but I heard from Svi Meyer that he said that Chazal say that when David HaMelech said this, that Hashem told him to curse me, he became the Regel Revi'i,
The what?
the Regel Revi'i, the fourth leg, so to speak.
Of what? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
What is the Regel Revi'i? So we have Avram Avinu, he's the first. We have Yitzchak Avinu, the second. We have Yaakov Avinu, the third.
Mhm.
And then we have David. Now it doesn't say in the Shemon Esrei, it doesn't say Elokei David.
Mhm.
That's what the Gemara relates. That David wanted to know why we should say that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Hashem tested him because David said, "I want to test." Hashem said, "David, you can't compare yourselves to the Avos. They got tested and they passed."
Mhm.
So David said, "So test me." So say, "Okay, you want a test? I'll give you a test." So that was the test. So in a certain sense, we would think, "Oh, he failed the test." But in a certain sense, he didn't fail the test, because when he got the backlash from the test, for so to speak, failing the test, he said,
9,
Hashem
7,
told him.
3, 7.
Hashem
Wow.
told him to say this to me.
Mhm.
And so that was the passing of the test, so to speak.
In a way, I would have thought that even asking for a test is a failure.
Right. We don't ask for tests, right? David HaMelech wanted to he wanted to rise to that level, to that lofty level. So on that basis, Hashem said, "Look, David, the way you rise to higher levels is you get a test." So he said, "Okay, so that's what I want."
You're saying he passed the test when he refrained from responding?
In a certain sense, yes. That was the test. The fact that he did what he did before that was not the reason that he became the Regel Revi. But how he reacted to Shimon ben Gera, that was the test that he needed to pass.
Yeah, I was actually saying that even asking for a test is sort of a sign of that you feel that you can pass it. That's sort of a bit sort of, what do you call it?
Arrogant.
Arrogance, yes, something like that, perhaps. But
Maybe
Right.
that's why passing the test, because he humbled himself.
Hashem gave him a test that he wasn't going to pass. But ultimately, he that's what happened.
An interesting take.
Okay.
So I guess what we're saying is the lesson here is that when the person insults me, I need to say to myself, why is this happening to me?
Right.
Maybe I did something wrong.
Right.
Even like David HaMelech, who didn't really do something wrong, but on the other hand, he did do something wrong, and he was
Right. We can't. Right.
Hashem is sending this to me because of that incident.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right. What was I gonna say? Oh yes, this is what they say on the hotline. The point is like this. The attitude is that we take people out of the picture. The person's going to get involved in oh, Shimi Ben Gera. Oh, he is coming over here and he is telling me this. He's accusing me. Shimi Ben Gera. That's what he's doing to me. He's got no right to do that. He's who does he think he is? He's blah, 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 blah. Take Shimi Ben Gera out of the picture. Why is this happening? What's going on over here? Put Hashem in the picture. If we put Hashem in the picture, we take Shimi Ben Gera out of the picture. So then David Melech says, this is Mina Shamayim. This is Mina Shamayim. And that, right? That's the bitachon of David HaMelech. So David, so if David realized that this was coming from Hashem, and so therefore the response is to say, I accept Hashem. I accept the rebuke. And I thank you for giving me this rebuke that's soap and shampoo for me. I'm not concerned about what other people are going to say or do or anything like that. I'm living with Hashem. Okay. 11:31.
Thank you, Rabbi.
All the best. And a
Chodesh
Chodesh Tov to everyone.
Kodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov
Chodesh
to Ellen, Lou,
Right.
and to Yechia.
Yeah, good Shabbos.
Chodesh Tov and good Shabbos to everybody, to
Shabbos
Lou
also.
and Alan and Roy and Yechiel, Rabbi Yechiel,
Mm-hmm.
and to Aaron Chaimowitz, and Refuah Shleima Bezrat Hashem, to Sarah Tikva Bas Yehudis Bezrat Hashem.
Yeah.
We hope to see our dear friend Mayor back very soon. Bezrat Hashem.
Amen.
Yeah.
Refuah Shleima.
Shalema.
Good Shabbos.
Okay,
Good
take care.
Shabbos.